начинается.
Welcome guys, Brandon here from Terminated Gaming, and we're once again back on World of Warships with another replay. This is a little bit different this time. I'm playing in the Massachusetts, Tier 8 American BB. Not that the Massachusetts is bad or anything, but we're playing in Tier 7, 7v7, Tier 8 ranked. And, yeah, so I started actually trying to play a little bit of ranked. Most of the time I'm just playing this game to play it, you know, not necessarily the best player, not necessarily the worst player. But, so I tried my hand in ranked, and we'll just see how this battle goes for me. Yeah, no spoilers, no spoilers. Anyways, Massachusetts, Tier 8 American BB. I don't think we've had any Massachusetts games on the channel yet. I probably had some in the works before patch 10.0 came out, so this is being played on the most recent 10.0 patch. So, you know, I lost a few games that we would have played. Before that, you know, every major patch just makes all the games harder to, you know, you can't actually look back unless you have the previous game version downloaded. So, yeah. Anyways, back to this game. Playing Massachusetts. Massachusetts, very good battleship. It's basically, you take originally what Alabama was, so a South Dakota class, but this one allows you to have a secondary build, which is, of course, what I am running on my Massachusetts. Even though secondaries aren't as effective as they used to be, I still run it as a constant damage dealer for the Massachusetts. It sets fires while the main guns go and pack a huge punch. Now, the difference between Alabama and Massachusetts doesn't come down to just the secondaries. The Alabama is more accurate. I say that as we land 4 out of 9 for 14k on the Amagi, which isn't bad. But, like I said, Alabama is more accurate compared to Massachusetts. But Massachusetts makes up for that with having the 11.3 kilometer secondary range. Which makes it a very good ship against all classes now. We have shots out now on the Tier 8 mains. Mains is an interesting choice for ranked, in my opinion, but most ships types will work. We only do about 9k to the mains, as most of them were overpens. But this mains is making the mistake of sailing in a straight line-ish while being attacked by multiple ships. I take blind shots here because I still had the correct bearing to shoot at the mains. But obviously you don't need to see the target to kill the target. If you were traveling in the same path when you went unspotted, you're going to pay for it. So we get the first blood. 2 citadels to kill that mains. Very lucky, but of course you just pay a little bit more attention and stuff like that will happen for you. Now, that just leaves the Amagi over there. And I've not ran aground here, but I've slowed to a stop. I'm not spotted. And I like coming to more of a central position. I know it's very dangerous in any ship to put yourself like this, but I did this because there is another enemy mains in front of me, and I really don't want to get torpedoed if I keep going forward. And I figured he would be targeting us with torpedoes. We land 3 hits, 1 citadel on that Amagi for a decent chunk of damage. I do decide to start moving forward here because the mains has already turned sideways. So I figure if I can get my bow in on this mains, I'll be fine. And I really want to get this cruiser out of the game. So shots out on the mains, close range here, but we get 3 overpens and 1 torpedo protection hit. Not the best accuracy for me. And I actually decide to turn outwards, and I will outrun the torpedoes. There's no way he could squeeze them past the island. There's his torps, but I do eat some significant damage from the battleships on that flank. Let the secondaries target that mains. Now the Kansas is pushing the mains, and I believe the mains does have 2 quadruple torpedo launchers per side. So now I'm going to contest B while continuing to try to take out this Amagi, because if we can take out this Amagi, the enemy Lexington's over there, but it allows our Cleveland free reign, because I believe the Cleveland would be able to take care of himself against the enemy Lexington. bad shots on my part. The Amagi is still going out a little bit further, so I kind of missed by misjudging, aimed a little short. So that's on me. We solo capped the B point, and I'm going to continue pushing towards this Amagi in Lexington because I feel like my team should be able to take care of business up on the north end. I focus now on trying to shoot at this Lexington since he's the only thing available for me to shoot at that I wouldn't have to turn for. But I think I misjudge him a little bit here. Yeah, hitting forward on his ship. We hit 6 shells. If that was a little bit further inwards, that would have been a significant chunk of damage to that Lexington. We still do 10k, but it could have been better if I would have judged his speed correctly. And now we are unspotted. Like I said, I was telling my clanmates, if you play battleships, Massachusetts in ranked is one of the best decisions you can make. Because Massachusetts has a lot going for it. It has a low citadel. It's very hard to citadel at close range. Kind of like the same thing with the Germans, but the Germans eat a lot more pen damage than the Massachusetts would. At least in my experiences with the Massachusetts versus the Germans. I take another blind shot there at the back of the Lexington. Really didn't amount to much, but hey, you miss all the shots that you don't take, and that was one of the opportunities I had, was to shoot at him. I decided to cut inwards here. No specific reason of why I did it. The Implacable burns down the Amagi, and we take a pen from the Amagi, which 4,000 damage is a little, just a little minor inconvenience. So now this Lexington's exposed, so I'm pushing down here with the friendly mains to support the Cleveland, who's on low health, and we're going to try to take out their aircraft carrier, which will lose them a significant part of their spotting advantage. But of course our Implacable has pushed himself into a position that I think is ill-advised, but if it works for him, it works for him. He's really actively trying to be close to the battle, which is nice, but it's a very ill-fated position. There's still an enemy DD in play. We of course lost ours early, but now we're pushing up into a position so we can mess with this Lexington's planes as they come off the deck, and hopefully try to save that Cleveland from as much as we possibly can. Of course, when planes get around the back of an island, we are not able to really do anything against them. Our Implacable is requesting support, and it's understandable as both me and this mains have basically abandoned him to this flank to deal with the Lexington first. But it is good to isolate the remainder of the enemy team. We don't want to have this CV being able to come up behind us with planes and have to look behind us, back and forth. We do a decent chunk of damage to the Lexington there. Could have probably been better, could have probably been worse. But consistent damage is nice, where we're doing these nice chunks to him. We get our high caliber for 105,000 damage, but that's still going to go up because these secondaries are going to riddle that Lexington. Lexington doesn't have a bunch of armor, and we are going to take care of him right now. He launches his torpedo planes against us. I start cutting inward and cut the throttle, or cut the speed, and it looks like we will either take one or completely avoid it here, and we're just going to eat one carrier tort for 3,000 damage. So now I'm going to turn the secondary focus onto that Cossack. It's still out of range. And then I'm going to try to take a shot at the Cossack with the main guns, but it'll probably be with little to no avail. As, yeah, we get 2 overpens, so it was not terrible. We were able to save the Cleveland. He is barely alive. Our friendly Kansas and Massachusetts both died up to the north. The Massachusetts did have a valiant effort against being outnumbered against the enemy Massachusetts and North Carolina. North Carolina also another good boat, and like I said, the CV, the ill-advised play of being where he was. We get about the overpen worth of damage on the Cossack, but it's called a pen, and the secondaries are still lighting him up. It's sad to have lost the carrier here in this situation, as the carrier would have been our best bet to spot that DD. So that DD is now going to constantly be lighting me for the enemy BBs, so I'm just going to keep nose in towards those BBs to minimize their damage effect, and then also varying my speed to avoid the damage from the Cossack, potentially. Throwing off the torpedoes of the Cossack is a large part It's a little easier if he's single launching them, because he does get that option. He can maximize damage into one spot, but he loses out on the ability that if we avoid all of the torps more easily. The enemy Massachusetts takes out one of our forward turrets, which really does suck in this situation. And I pinged the friendly mains to go out and try to contest the Cossack, because I believe the mains does have hydro. If not, I'm mistaken there. The Cleveland's going to do his best with the limited health that he has left, while we have this mains up here supporting us, hopefully against the enemy DD. This is still a very close game. Both of those battleships, I'm the only battleship left on my team, and both those enemy battleships are very healthy. The Cossack does a bigger spread of torpedoes here, so we were able to avoid those quite easily. Meanwhile, I'm having to try to angle against two different targets, as these battleships are going to split pretty soon. But I'm going to continue pushing this advantage here that we have. Well, kind of a disadvantage. We avoid the Massachusetts fire. Not saying much. Massachusetts accuracy is sometimes very poor. Sometimes you get some decent dispersion. But we get a lucky fire on one of our secondary hits on that Massachusetts, which is really nice. We take out the gun of the North Carolina. And I kind of make a miscalculation here. I turn to try to get this third turret involved, but this North Carolina is really dedicated to try to shoot at me when we have cruisers that are still attacking them. But I did this to minimize the damage from the closer Massachusetts that's also now firing at me. And there's also a Cossack on this side, so I want to be able to quickly turn and avoid his torpedoes. But from that right there, we can tell now that the Cossack is not on our right flank. He's on our front flank. So I'm telling everybody, hey, we need to focus him. I still had my secondaries targeting him from before. Secondaries do a decent amount of damage. We kill him with the secondaries, but I fired just before that happened, so we are very dangerous on health here. And we're trying to get into a position where the Massachusetts can no longer affect me, but his secondaries are still shooting me. So I need to deal with this North Carolina, as he's going to do the most damage to me right now. We get our Confederate. We've done the majority of damage to several targets now. And this North Carolina continues on a path that is very dangerous, but he is low enough on health that we don't get him with the main guns, which is very disappointing, but, you know, can't get them all. But we got him with the secondary guns there, and I am now popping my last heal. And if you remember correctly, this Massachusetts on the enemy team is nearly 2/3 health, and I am going to recover up to maybe 15,000 health. And I'm the only... Our mains is still good health, but he is in a cruiser, and a cruiser is not going to do well against a battleship, especially armed with 16-inch guns. So we get just a hair over 16,000 health. The enemy Massachusetts launches a spotter plane, so he knows where we are, but we don't know where he is. And I kind of expected him to actually have turned around and tried to come over here and engage us in this cap. If you've noticed, we've actually got 3 solo caps here in our Massachusetts. We've solo capped B the first time, went back, solo capped A, and then came back and recapped B. And both of our cruisers are staying further back. We are ahead on points, so it is smart for them to be back. And I could actually die here and be fine, as long as my team could either deal significant damage to the Massachusetts to make him not come back, or deny him the caps. At this point, we have a nice enough point lead. And I kind of started making this decision now. I was like, well, I could go and spot this guy. Both of these guys are far enough back that they might be able to disengage from the Massachusetts if the Massachusetts kills me. And if we kill him now, there's just no possibility that he wins. So this is a very ballsy play, very ill-advised play. But I'm going to attempt it anyways. If I had my spotter plane, I would have launched it to get some preemptive information here, because I have no idea where this Massachusetts is. We only know a general idea of where he last was spotted, so he could be making a play around any side of this island. So we're just going to slowly cut around the island, and I get proxy detected. He is right on top of us. Put a nice meaty 21k into his front. He returns fire. He gets almost 10k in pens. If I couldn't have kited that angle any closer, we probably would have been dead there. But he fired all 9 of his guns. I only fired my front guns, and I'm going to reload before him because I got the drop. I also have 2 cruisers pumping him full of damage from all of their angles. The secondaries on both of us are going back and forth. We get a fire. I think one of the cruisers got a fire too. And I aim high, and we get the kill. That is our 5th kill in that game, and a Kraken unleashed. So going over the post-game results, we got a lot of medals. Confederate, 2 close quarters expert. We got a Dreadnought, of course, because we took a lot of hits that game. First Blood, Kraken unleashed, and a high caliber. 183,000 damage off of 58 target hits. We shot down 14 aircraft. Killed 5 enemy ships. We had only 3 citadels, so very inconsistent on those fronts. We solo capped 3 of the capture points, and we had 155 secondary battery hits. For the team results, we finished with 3,100 base XP. Did a lot for the team, but also that Cleveland did a lot of work against getting focused by that Lexington. Really saved probably a lot more time for us on the team. And that Mains didn't play too badly. And like I said, that Massachusetts on our team did very well to hold off the enemies for as long as they didn't allow us to get A and basically secure that side of the map. A more detailed results, we did majority of our damage against that Lexington, almost 50,000 damage, 36,000 against that Massachusetts, and of course we nuked that Mains out of the water. We did a decent amount to like the Amagi and all those ships. We damaged, I believe, all but 1 ship of the enemy team, so that was a pretty good result. Main battery did 144,863. Of course, we only fired armor piercing, no HE out of the main battery, because our secondary battery fires HE with 155 hits for almost 30,000 damage just from the secondary hits alone, and only 8,000 from fires. But hey, with 6 fires, that means they were putting them out and maybe allowing the rest of our team to set fires, or at least our cruisers, as there were a decent amount of cruisers in this game. Besides taking a lot of damage ourselves, we did have 2.3 million potential damage that we didn't actually directly take. And then also we capped all but 3 points for our team. And we defended all 3 of the points that our team had in defense. So we did quite a bit for our team. Massachusetts is a premium ship, so of course you're going to earn a lot more credits. We come away with 1.4 million in profit. If you didn't have a premium account, it would be 920,000 for a game like that. We also received 25,000 free XP, which was really nice, because off of this game I was able to get the Smallland. This was with a lot of flags, of course, and 51,000 Commander XP, and since I have Dasha on my Massachusetts, and she's 21 points, that was 51,000 Elite Commander XP that I was able to use towards other commanders. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If so, very much appreciated. Let me know what you think about this game down below. Let me know if there's anything that you would have thought that you would have did different, because I'm curious how everybody else would have played that situation. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, check out the rest of them in the playlist up above. I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's so very much appreciated. I'll catch you guys most definitely on the next one. Peace out.
Shut up and sit down.